In this video, we'll be doing a motion word problem. The problem is Krissa drove to her grandmother's house for a weekend visit. She averaged 40 miles per hour driving there on Friday. Returning home on Sunday, traffic was lighter, so she was able to average 48 miles per hour, and her driving time was 1 hour less. What is the distance between Krissa's home and that of her grandmother? Now, when I do a motion word problem, I like to organize my information in a chart, and I'm going to have 3 columns and 2 rows. The top row, I'm going to make that going to her grandmother's house, and then a return on the second row. The columns I'm going to label with the equation that relates all of the variables. We know that distance, and I'm calling that d, is equal to the rate of speed times the time. So distance equals rate times time is the equation that relates all of our variables. We can call this a dirt box, if you like. So let's read through the problem again and fill in our cells in our dirt box. She averaged 40 miles per hour driving there on Friday, so the rate of speed going to her grandmother's house is 40. Then returning home on Sunday, traffic was lighter, so she was able to average 48 miles per hour. So on the return trip, she had 48 miles per hour, and her driving time was 1 hour less. That means then that her time returning home was 1 hour less than her time going, but we don't know either one of those. So I'm going to put a T for the time it took her to drive to her grandmother's house, and then 1 hour less would be T minus 1. Now, I don't know anything about her distance to her grandmother's house, and in fact, that's what we're looking for. What is the distance between Krissa's home and that of her grandmother? So I'm going to let that be D, and I know it'll be the same when I return, so they're both going to be D. Once you have all the cells filled in on your dirt box, then your equation comes from each row. We have D and then equals rate R, which is 40, times the time, which is T. So my first equation is D equals 40T. My second equation is D equals 48, and I need parentheses around this time since it's more than one term. It's a binomial, T minus 1. So these are my 2 equations that I need to solve, and I'm going to solve those simultaneously. I think substitution is what I'll use. Since they're both equal to D, I can set them equal to each other. So I have 40T is equal to 48 times the quantity T minus 1. Now we just need to distribute the 48 through the binomial. So 40T is equal to 48T minus 48. Now I can subtract 48T from both sides. These will cancel, and I get negative 8T is equal to negative 48. Divide both sides by negative 8. These will cancel, and T is equal to 6. Now the question was, what is the distance between Krissa's home and that of her grandmother? I know the time, so I need to put that 6 back into one of these equations. This one's the simplest one, So I'm going to put it back into D is equal to 40 times T. So D is equal to 40 times 6, which gives us distance is equal to 240 miles.